everybody, thanks for stopping back by Wild Bird Creative. I have 3 scraps of paper here that I've just glued together, and that is where we're going to start. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is I don't want to get into trying to mask off areas in my art journal. I want to be able to just stencil on this with some white paint, and if it goes off the edges, it's not a big deal. So I have this circle stencil, Crafter's Workshop maybe? I'm not sure. I've had it a lot of years. And I'm just going to come in and just work my way around. I'm going to let the sponge run out of paint when and where it wants to. And then I'll reload it. But I want a very mottled effect here. I don't want a solid coverage of the background. And what's nice, of course, is as you're doing this, you can lift it and see what you like and what you don't like, and come back in and rework areas where you want a little more. And I'm just moving it around. I'm letting areas get a little bit dry so that I'm not overworking areas and picking up the wet paint. Let's get some over here. Lighten this area up a little bit, and let's see what we've got. Just a nice bit of detail coming through. Let's put a little more in here. Get some right around those edges. Oops. There we go. Keep going. Get these little areas up here. There we go. And what's nice about this stencil is it's easy to move along. You can give it a little bit of a line up and then come right back in. Oops. My fingers slipped there. And that way you can work your way across using a small stencil. Oh, that's Daisy the studio cat that you hear meowing. She's bound determined to be down here, and then as soon as she is, of course, she wants to be upstairs. That's okay. I'll let her out in a second when I set this aside to dry. Let's put a little bit up there. Let's see. Oh, I like how that looks. Only got a little bit left on this sponge. So there we go. And I'm just going to give this just a couple seconds just to dry before we move on to the next step. Set these aside to get washed, and let Daisy out, and I'll be right back. Okay, Daisy is upstairs doing her own thing now, and we will continue with this. Got just my plain old journal, and all I'm going to do is just stick this right down onto the page. This way, I have the paint where I want it and not where I don't. Ugh. Now this blue is bubble wrap that I pressed onto my gel plate on tissue paper. So that way I just ended up with a nice pattern. And let's just roll this down. The paint is nice and dry, so I don't have to worry about smearing anything. But there we go. We'll turn it sideways. We'll keep working that way just to make it a little bit easier. Then I have some Kai scraps over here. And I'm just going to add them just to keep things interesting. Let's see. I've got just some windows. I'm not really making a building, but it could be. Let's scooch that over a tiny bit and get it stuck down. I like the way it creates a little negative space right there. And then I've got this one, but I kind of like the face on this. This face is kind of how I'm feeling today. Just a little out of sorts. And we'll just tuck her right down in the corner. And then I've got just this other piece that's got the same colors in it. If you go on the Moon and the Maker, she has these wonderful supplies that you can buy. They're books of wonderful art. You don't always feel like making your own. Sometimes you want to just have it be simple. So from here, let me grab some of my rubber stamps and just add a little bit more detail to this. Okay, let me get this little scrap off here. I've just got a couple Tim Holtz. This one I know is fragments. This one I don't know. But you can find any sort of script design that you want. You don't have to have what I'm using. Use what you have. Keep it simple. Don't add more complexity to your life. Now this fragment one is great because you can use it anywhere. And it's very, very subtle, but you can layer it up so many different ways. Let's add a little more script up here. And in here. And I'm just turning the whole page. There we go. Let's add a little bit down here. And then let's get another one and let's change the color. Let's look here. I'm thinking iced spruce or speckled egg, both distress inks, which are wonderful. And some art foamies. That one and my scribble one. So I've got one that's just some circles. And let's bring this. Oh dear, are my stamp pads all drying up? Is it time to get re-inkers? Does appear that it is. Oh dear, let me set that aside. I haven't had that one not even a year yet. It shouldn't be already dried up. Oh no, are they all drying up on me? Ah, these are new ink pads. That's infuriating. Let's move on to some of my ones that I know last longer than a year. Use my VersaFines. There we go. That gives me more of what I need. And that one still didn't really show up. There we go. Let's look at these and see what else looks good in here. Let's try my X's. Really surprised at how that one has dried up too. That's okay. The X's are nice and easy to use because you can turn them any way you want. And I'm just going right over things because this art foamy is starting to wear out. I've used it a lot and it's almost given its all. There we go. Let's take another look here. I've got, this is from Kalbach. Her stuff is great. I really want this one to work though, but that may not be the way it is. But let's give it a go here. If not, I'll use the other one. Nope. Wow, I have a lot of dead pads. I apologize for that. Keep going though, right? Keep on keeping on, using what I've got. Let's see, let's add a coffee colored one. And I'm getting, again, just a very, very faint impression. Not as dark as I would like, but as I said, I seem to be having a number of dead pads. But that's okay, because we're going to keep moving on here. Going to roll with the punches. Let me turn this and just come in, and I'm just making some marks. They don't mean anything. They're just lines, just to add another layer overall. And just, they're especially nice on the tissue paper. Now with this pencil, I could wet these and it would smooth them out a bit, but I'm not going to because I don't really want a watercolor effect. I want this effect. I want it to be very, organic and interesting and not so exact. And I have this sponge, and I honestly don't know if it's going to do anything at all. So let me bring this in first. I just want to see if it even leaves any detail. Oh, it does. Oh. It leaves a very, very light speckling. I like that. And you can just keep going over it. So let's just add some speckling in here. And I suppose I could also scrub it in, but I just want to add something to maybe bring down a little bit of the gloss on these photocopies. And this seems to be doing just that. And there were a whole bunch of them in a box. One of my daughters ordered something. So there we are. I love it. It's done. I love how this feels a little bit like sky between buildings. As I said, this person matches my mood right here. Grab your supplies. Don't be afraid to assemble your piece and glue it together and then put it into your art journal. Sometimes that's the best way. Sometimes you can work right on the page and it all is okay. This time I wanted to be sure that I could do the white stenciling and have it just stay on here without putting any blue painter tape around. So I've got a journal page all done. I hope that you will have a wonderful week. Speak kindly to yourselves, make art, stand up for people in your community, and thanks for stopping by, Wild Bird Creative.